Hi, I'm Ceri James. I'm from BlueMagnet, and I've just completed the 2-day Mobile Marketing Accreditation with Paul Berney from mCordis. And Paul, I must firstly just say thank you so much.
Pleasure.
I didn't expect to learn so much. I mean, being in the digital marketing world for a number of years, I thought, okay, mobile, we're going to talk about SMSs and MMSs, and I was really blown away with the course content.
Thank you. So, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Hopefully you discover that actually mobile is such a huge subject area. It's impossible for any one person to have in-depth knowledge of every part of it. So
exactly.
The attempt is to give you a kind of foundation that would make you want to know more about all the rest of it.
Exactly, and I want to talk to you just now about some of the other programs that you're bringing out.
Sure.
So tell me, just in terms of the program that we've gone through over the last 2 days, from on an international scale. I mean, it's backed by the IDM.
Yes.
So where does it rank globally?
So it is the only accredited course in mobile marketing anywhere in the world.
Okay.
So we created it 3 years ago with the support of the Institute of Direct and Digital Marketing in the UK. They are the UK's only professional trade body that's allowed to accredit marketing courses. And there is a whole long 6-month process that you have to go through of getting that material accredited and peer reviewed, and then they view all the way that the tutors deliver the course. And we've delivered it in the UK, the US, Pakistan, South Africa now, the Middle East. We delivered parts of it in Australia and other parts of the world. So we know it has international relevance. We know that there is a strong appetite for learning more about mobile marketing. In particular, people want to learn best practices for themselves, but they're also always interested in learning more about what's happening in other countries. What inspiration can I take from something in different countries? And you saw over the course of 2 days, we had content and case studies from Turkey, from Indonesia, from the Philippines, from India, quite a few from South Africa, but we also had stuff from the US, UK, Brazil. We try to bring as much international content as possible to demonstrate to people there's a lot going on, and there are tons of brands around the world already working with mobile, and there's a huge amount that you can learn from looking at that international experience.
Okay, so I mean, it really is. It's around global context in terms of the program, because you can apply it anywhere. I mean, mobile is this really.
I mean, it does sound kind of corny to say it. It is global in its footprint, but local. We still bring it back to
local relevance.
some local relevance with that, and that comes from understanding the market. So I've had long enough working in mobile marketing, and have had kind of 8 years or so coming to do business here in South Africa, that I understand some of the changes and the intricacies of how the African markets work that are very different to Western European markets, just in terms of basics like smartphone penetration or use of technologies like USSD and things like that. So you have to adapt the course to the local conditions that marketers are facing.
Sure.
But also bring them that international flavour.
Okay, all right. And I mean, if we talk globally, what over the past 3 years, what have been some of the biggest shifts that you've seen in the mobile marketing world, really?
I see, the continued shift away from, obviously, on a technical level, the shift away from feature phones to smartphones. Okay. But also, I think I've seen in many markets a shift away from mobile being a nice-to-have add-on that was treated in isolation to being a component of a complete marketing mix, and in the most developed markets it is the central component of that, and you see that is being driven by consumers in particular. So that's the biggest thing that you see. It's our behaviour as individuals and as consumers that is driving mobile adoption and driving mobile usage, and brands are playing catch up with that.
It's an interesting place to be, kind of the war between the brand and then the individual who's going off into the digital horizon, if you want.
And of course, it's a very different channel than all the other channels available to the brand, because it's two-way.
Yeah, exactly.
We expect to engage, we expect conversation, we expect dialogue.
Exactly.
And that's part of the challenge, but it's also part of the opportunity for brands, is why not talk to people directly and hear from them directly.
Yeah. So then, from a South African perspective, when you talk about Africa and into South Africa and some of the nuances, I mean, what are some of the biggest gaps that you would say in terms of an established, I would imagine, an established environment like Europe and the States compared to what's going on in Africa and South Africa from a mobile marketing?
So interestingly, I've been working across markets for more than a decade in mobile marketing, and what I can tell you is that it's unevenly distributed in terms of what innovation and practice. So there are, yes, you would look at the UK and say, okay, there's more people doing, downloading apps and integrating with brands and what have you in there, or using augmented reality. But there are more people in Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, using mobile banking and using mobile financial products. Because largely speaking, sub-Saharan Africa has jumped beyond the desktop stage. It just hasn't stopped at desktop, it's gone straight into mobile, because there was never going to be the infrastructure to support desktop. So what I see that is fascinating in Africa is where innovation has taken hold, because it's like there was no other alternative. So necessity is the mother of invention. Right. It's that thing. What I love about South Africa, and I think that you have to teach the rest of the world, is because in many instances you've started with the most basic technology of the mobile world, USSD. That has led people's behaviour to expect a dialogue and an engagement and a two-way with the brand. They're used to conversation. They're used to, I text something, a response comes back. I text something, a response comes back. So they're already used to the fact that the mobile is not a broadcast medium, it's a dialogue medium. And that, I think, South Africa can teach the rest of the world. So you see that with USSD, you see that with Please Call Me. Now, there's a long way to go for South Africa in terms of adopting many of the other mobile marketing techniques. We still see mobile being used here as a mobile call to action in printed media, but not enough in radio and not enough in TV. We don't see mobile being used for delivering in-store engagement. We don't see mobile being used here for loyalty cards and replacing plastic and paper. So there's a long way to go here, a lot of opportunity for businesses.
So what would your suggestion be to South African corporates and South African brands in terms of adopting mobile? Where would be some of the places to start?
So hopefully you pick this up in the course. There's two very simple things that we emphasise to people. One is that think about the customer journey using the language of the consumer, not of you, the marketer. So no one takes a journey from awareness to advocacy, much as we would like them to. But what we do as consumers is that we try to find things that we want to buy, we look for them, discover them, we then choose which ones we want to buy them, use them, excuse me, and if we really like them, then we'll share that with other people and even in fact tell people about how much we love those things. So if we orientated our marketing around how can I help my target market find, choose, buy, use, and love my product, my service, using mobile, that's a really simple mobile strategy. The second part that goes hand in hand with that is to think about, in total, having a mobile presence, not just having an individual part, not saying we've got an app, therefore we've got mobile, or we've done something in messaging. Mobile is all of the activities and all the channels built upon a bedrock of understanding and holding a database, understanding how your CRM works, understanding how you hold all your digital creative, having partners that can help you deliver all of that. Right. There's a total mobile presence to consider rather than just each individual channel.
Right. So it's seamless, it's integrated, it's across other digital channel, digital marketing.
Mobile's great at making other channels work better and work harder. Yeah. It can extend and enhance them. I'm not saying it's going to replace them.
Sure.
It can extend and enhance.
Exactly. So talk to me about some of the trends that you foresee, some of the future predictions of where mobile marketing is going and possibly where marketing might shift as a whole because of mobile.
So what we see is mobile kind of taking its place as part of a total marketing mix. And we see brands looking, kind of going backwards to saying there's just marketing and there's a whole range of tools that we have available to us. But actually, brand is a combination of physical, digital, sensorial and emotional experiences all wrapped up together. So where we're going as a business and the clients that we're working with is actually thinking, well, how do we create a total brand of all of those experiences? That's the first part of it. The second part is to think about us as connected individuals. So not connected consumers, not necessarily, but connected individuals. The more devices and sensors that we have in our lives, the more that we are constantly connected. The more constantly connected that we are, the more we live in a state of connectedness. When our mind state is we are aware of our digital self, if you like. And that state of connectedness is actually changing our behaviour. So if you add those three things together, the means of connection, the living in a state of connectedness and the alteration of our behaviour, you come to the conclusion, actually, we're all becoming connected individuals, constantly connected to our digital selves. Therefore, we're going to want connected brands. So we have to become connected marketers. So we have to learn How do I manage and harness all of the things that are available to me in combination, rather than thinking, I need a mobile strategy, I need a social strategy. All of those things have got to add up together to a total connected brand.
So just on that, I mean, you gave a great example in the training around this actuarial marketing versus actual marketing.
Yes.
I mean, we spoke about the example with wearables and how we can do individual incentives for personalization. I mean, take me through some of that.
So the idea is, if you're sitting around with one of these watches on, then you're collecting lots of what we would call it's intimate data. I mean, my heart rate data and my fitness profile and how often I run or ride a bike, what have you, that's individual to me, personal to me. I may be prepared to share that with other people if there's some value exchange in return. So what you're seeing, particularly in the States now, is a new development of insurance and healthcare that says, well, if you'll share that intimate data with us, we will base our healthcare program on your own individual results, not on men of your age or men like you, specifically you. And provided that you are living your lifestyle in a way that says you're doing all that you can to look after yourself, actually will lower our premiums. The second, the same thing could be said for, well, if you will use an app that monitors how you drive a car, and if you drive within the speed limits and you don't drive too fast or brake too suddenly all the time, and they can see how many miles you're driving and what have you, how many kilometers that you do in a year, then they can base your insurance policy upon you as an individual. That ability to tailor products right down to the individual, that is caused and enabled by mobile at its heart. But it's a bigger thing than just mobile. It's mobile plus connected devices plus sensors and everything in your life.
Right. So there's really a lot to think about. I mean, this is a really, really broad topic. And I know we've spent 2 days talking about it. It's really a case about pulling it all together and understanding the theory and then applying the practice to it. And, there's a process to work through here.
Yeah, and I feel I've kind of scratched the surface with all of you, which is what I hope to do is that the 2 days kind of operates as a basic introduction to the foundations, but partly it's a kind of evangelization thing. You want people to come away from it thinking, wow, there is so much more I could be doing as a brand and as a marketer, and I'm not alone. Exactly. Everybody else in the room is doing it, and look at all these hundreds or thousands of other brands around the world that are already doing it in my sector, in my industry, or in completely different industries. But I now see how I can apply that learning to my business. Yeah. Hopefully that's what people take away from this course.
Yeah. And what I really enjoyed about the way the program was put together was, day one was really a kind of a high-level overview of what we're going to cover. Yeah. And then I found day two was a repeat, but now we've got into the detail. And we went deeper down into each of the technologies and a lot more around the strategy. And really where it came together for me was the practical application to say, you're now client, you brief us, and we're going to put this exact project together, and we have to now pitch it to client. And I found that that's really where it came together for me personally.
And hopefully that's the way the structure should work for everybody, which is you get an opportunity to kind of level set everyone on day one, and you explain to them, look, here's that why mobile and how mobile. But on day two, it's really diving into, well, what exactly would you do? How exactly do you make a messaging campaign work? What are all the considerations that go into designing an app or promoting an app? Yeah. How would I test whether my site is mobile ready? All that kind of stuff that we cover. And then you get this opportunity to kind of bring it all together and say, okay, if you've really understood that, then here's a brief for you to answer, and come back and answer that for me.
Yeah, exactly. So all this talk of the connected individual and heart rate and stuff like that. I mean, I believe from here after the training, you're going down to Cape Town and you're picking it up and that's about it.
I'm going down for my fourth go at the Cape Argos.
Okay, fantastic.
So I first came here 9 years ago. And a friend drove me around the course and drove me up Chapman's Peak and what have you. And I decided right there and then I am coming back. And I'm coming back to do this ride. And I have trained for it for 6 years in a row. I've managed to make it 4 of those years. 2 years I had to drop out because of work.
Okay.
But I could see myself coming back here to do that every single year. Because I love the city, I love the town, I love the culture, I love the people here. And the race itself is a fantastic thing. And who could not like the scenery of riding around the Cape?
Fantastic. So where would be the best place to follow you to get that photo finish moment as you go?
I don't want anybody having a photograph of what I look like at the finishing race. And I've had enough photographs of me crawling over the top of Chapman's Peak. But I tell you this, I look better at the top of Chapman's Peak than I do at the top of Seikobossen.
Okay, all right.
So, and you will see me at the end with a big smile on my face and a thought in my mind that tomorrow morning I'm going to go and do the whole thing again in reverse, which is what I did a couple of years ago.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Paul, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your insights. Thank you for the course.
Oh, it's a
And
pleasure.
I'm looking forward to staying connected with you online and watching closely what you guys are doing. And I look forward to working with you as time progresses.
Yeah, it was great to be here. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Paul. Cheers.